Institute Remnant back with another video. Today I'll be showing you guys probably the first out of 3 episodes that will include in later possibly the second or third one builds. But this one is just going to be a tour of my main settlement, which is Sanctuary. And as per all my other settlements, I do not use any of the other creations besides the Vault Tech creations. And what I planned on for this settlement was to make this an actual city, an actual sanctuary. And I kind of took it out of the old, I think it's Fallout 2, where they made an actual vault city. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's Fallout 3 or Fallout 1. Correct me if I'm wrong. I never played the original 2 games. And due to complications that happened in my childhood, I was not able to play Fallout 3 and enjoy it, so I'm waiting on the remaster. But without further ado, I'd like to show you guys what I've been making so far. So basically what I wanted to do was have a nice formal gateway so that mostly my provisioners can get to and fro from my main hub settlement to all of their other ones. Eventually I'm going to put a longer flat Vault Tech support up there to make it more closed off, but this is what I have for now. On top I have some Enclave turrets just to protect me from whatever comes. Typically it's Rad Scorpions. 99.9% of the time it's Rad Scorpions. And I've begun building the actual Great Wall that the Great Magnificent Wall that I'm building around Sanctuary to protect it, to make it seem like it's actually safe and fortified to the actual settlers that I'm having move here from my other settlements. So this is the first, I'd say the first quarter of it complete, which wraps around the ocean side. I shouldn't say ocean side, it's the little lake or pond. But working our way back to the beginning. Of course, I have a bunch of water towers because I wanted to gather as much water as possible for my settlers. I did not find a better way to get as much water as I wanted. If you guys have any tips on gathering water, please comment below because I would love to have this settlement without these giant, ugly things in the way, but if this is the only option, I guess I'm stuck with it. And this is our little community farm. I spread them out into, I think, 3 or 4 different areas, but this is just mainly the corn. This is the main entry to the settlement, so what I wanted for this is actually the most recent building that I have been creating. And this is going to be the checkpoint, so this is going to be main security, clinic to make sure you're clean, you're not going feral, or you don't have any ridiculous disease or rads. And then the top floor is going to be the armory, and I'm not sure what the final floor will be. Maybe it'll just be an observation or guard tower. And then of course over here is just the other side where I have the wall wrapping around with 2 more turrets on top. I don't consider this, I consider this just part of the other one because it's just another extension of the gate. And of course, as soon as I start to film, we're getting Radstorm. And I do not have the resources to build one of those weather clearing fireworks, so bear with me. Perhaps I will just wait in one of the rooms for a short period of time and wait for the storm to pass.
Strong hope we find milk of human
After our
kindness
Brotherhood
soon.
airship crashed directly into it. There are some reports of survivors, but it seems to have been a very bloody fight. While they have not officially
That
taken
seems to have
responsibility,
worked.
all evidence points to the Institute
Okay.
being responsible.
And now, working our way up, we started back there. So basically, I cleared out all of these houses. I want to build ramps and use the pillar glitch to build ramps up here so that there's a little flat surface, and these can be like little shop areas or even two-story little vault buildings, just because I don't want any sign of like the ruined area here. But we'll see if I can do that. I don't know if I can. For a future video, that's what I'll be trying to do. I may even do it while I'm recording. I just get very nervous about recording while I'm building because it's very time consuming, and I know a lot of you guys do not want to watch a 2 hour or a 1 hour video. So I try to cut these down as and make them as short as possible. And these are obviously still in the process of being completed. As you can see, there's missing windows. But most of these, I'm not going to lie, are just plain old residential quarters. And because it's my vault city, I want it to be the capital of the new wasteland, or at least the capital of the Commonwealth. This is just going to be a little security or a common area. I want each residential quarter to be at least a very decent size. I want them to have enough room for either them or a companion of theirs, or and then just have a very decent sized living. Like I want this to be comfortable living in the wasteland, not tight living quarters like the Vaultec where it's like studio apartments that I designed, but I want this to be actual real luxury. So that's what I'm aiming for. Obviously, none of the interiors are done. I'll probably do that once all of the buildings are actually complete. But my idea is to get as many of these towers built as possible to make it look as if this is an actual city on its own. And I've gotten pretty good with building the vaults above ground to the point where you can see which ones are my newer models because they're not ridiculously messy with the stairs going up. So as we go around, we'll see a bit more of that. Obviously, I kept this area because this is honestly where I keep the workstation. I fix up my weapons, make some chems, repair my power armor, and I store a lot of power armor in here and my vault tech stuff. So, which is what I use to supply my Vault 88 or my Vault 66 residents and security and utility people. So basically, what I do is I go back to these vaults every once in a while. I clean them out, which isn't even cleaning them out because they're all basically dead at that point unless they respawn. And I just go back and I clean out as many vault suits as I can find. And I know I'll never actually use them unless I equipped all of my actual settlers with it, but
So
maybe
many
it's something I'll
mutants.
actually do.
Not many super mutants.
But the only other thing that I really use in the settlement, beside that I haven't switched into my actual personally made buildings yet, are these, which I just kept during the main gameplay. I keep all of my chems and food in here. Eventually, I'm going to build a little Nuka-Cola place, but right now it goes all right there. All of my weapons go in the the washer over here. For some reason, I cannot find my solar cannon, and I'm not sure if I even got the quest marker. So if you guys also had that issue, let me know, because I did get the solar cannon from the Captain Cosmos DL or creation, but I never actually got the like normal skinned solar cannon quest. So, and I did purchase the quest before the anniversary upgrade. So if you guys have that issue have had that issue as well, let me know. Or if it's just one of those hidden quests where they don't really tell you. And this one I just keep all my armor. Maybe eventually I'll make a little mannequin museum out here as well. Since this is going to be an actual city, it would make more sense instead of having it hidden in my vault. But that on its own would be a nightmare to move. But every other building that's the pre-war building is absolutely empty. This lot I've been using to store my power armor, specifically the XO1s. I'm trying to get as many of them as possible by doing the rowdy hack where I just go there and I autosave, and if she doesn't have what I need, I just load it back, but that is a super long process and it is getting quite tedious at this point because I'm looking for specific pieces. So we'll see how that turns out. But moving towards the first building that I built, and I'll get to all of this later, it's the actual reactor, because I knew I needed to power the actual settlement. And this settlement sucks up a lot of power. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these fusion generators and a Vault-Tec reactor, and I think I don't even know how much actual power it supplies because it's past the 999 point. Yeah. But I wanted to make this a double-tiered building because, A, this is just a big thing and it won't fit, and I wanted to make it look nice. Obviously, through the various incarnations of me building this, a lot of my lights got taken away, so eventually I'll go back and fix them. Maybe I'll even switch the lights to, maybe a nice rad green to give it that power room feel. But this is my maintenance room. I like to keep these shut just because I don't like looking inside. It's ugly to me. And I'm going to also go in and light all of these interiors as well. It's just I haven't gotten to that point in this. And I built a second reactor because, yeah, this place sucks up a lot of power. And maybe I'm just being a little excessive. Is this thing even activated? Yeah, it's activated. I was about to say. There's just no lights in here. But yeah, it's pretty crazy the amount of power this place sucks up. Maybe I'm just really bad at connecting the circuits, but yeah, it sucks up a lot of power. Let's close that door as well. And heading into the first residential quarter, this is also just going to be a small little community area. Maybe I'll put some, like a fountain, a Vault-Tec fountain, some weights, and some casual seating and stuff down here into one of the first bedrooms that somebody uses. I know they do. I do have to eventually go in and reorganize and rebuild these because my first iterations were not very well planned. Specifically the staring. I don't like how the Vault-Tec staring is kind of janky. So I made a way where it's not as obnoxiously ridiculous going to new floors. And originally this was more than just 3 floors, but after you build above this to the 4th floor, I can't attach lights, I can't attach power, I can't attach anything to the walls, and that got really annoying to me because I want my rooms to be lit up. So I decided to just delete the fourth floor. And this room, obviously, I wanted the nicest room in the entire community to be Mama Murphy's. I'm sentimental to Mama Murphy. I convinced her to quit the jet, but I know a lot of people like to make her OD, so you do you. To me, she's just a sweet gangster old lady. But moving on, we'll get to this after I go through the buildings. But what I did to power the buildings is I used the wire glitch. I put two Vault-Tec connectors next to each other and used it that way, and then glitched it to the highest level of the next building so that it looked like an actual city, like the buildings are actually connected with wires. And I also have a lot of dogs, I don't know why, but I put the dog houses outside of each little community building, and you can see what I mean about the stairs being a bit obnoxious. During my first few iterations, I was trying to figure it out, and I will be going back and fixing them now that I have a proper way of doing it. This is one where I actually built a little security area. And this one actually has a cafeteria where people frequent. I think this is Curie at the desk.
Do you
Yeah,
need something, madame?
I have her rocked out in some enclave.
Never mind, as you wish.
Whoa, that was a jump scare. But now working up to here, this is going to be another just community area. I wanted this to be originally a multi-family place, but I didn't like the idea of that. So that's when I started building just the plain old residential buildings. And this is where everybody stays right now until all of the actual residential wings are done. And you see what I mean by them not being able to be powered, and I do not like it at all. So this floor as well is gonna possibly be gone as well during the next video. I like my buildings to be well lit. And then obviously you can see over here it's the same issue I faced with the janky building, which I solved. So all three of these buildings are gonna end up, this one, that one, and this one over here are all gonna end up being, at least the stairway part, are gonna end up being rebuilt. As again, this is gonna be another common room. I believe this one has a clinic. Yeah, this is gonna be the clinic. I set up one little surgeon over here. It's pathetic. Oh, this is the main one I guess everybody goes to. Maybe I should delete one of these.
Glad it's clear tonight. I don't fancy slogging around in the rain.
But yeah, mostly I want to keep building more residential quarters. This is going to be probably the arcade because I do want some entertainment. They can't just be here living. As I said, this is going to be luxury, and obviously someone's going to be living in this tower as well. Not sure who yet. Whoever annoys me the least. That's why Mama Murphy gets the nicest one and the other one. Preston's getting the worst one, and we all know why. And let's work towards this one. So this is one of the more modern ones that I built, and you can see it's got a bit more of a tame stairway. But because of where I put it, I don't know why Strong keeps spawning up there. I had to use a really weird one for the first floor. But all of the builds are essentially the same. This is just a pure residential quarter. Another dog outside. And then as you can see right here, this is the newest one. The build is much cleaner. So this is what most of them are going to end up looking like, where the stairways are right on top of each other, and there's not going to be these janky, ridiculous stairways and stairwells sticking out at odd angles. So it's going to be a lot more crisp, a lot more clean. But I believe that's about it for this video. Yeah, more enclave turrets over here, just because red scorpions are very frequent here. But I'll show you guys one more thing before I wrap up the video, which is how I power all of the buildings and all the turrets specifically. Is I set up through the wire glitch, I set up them through this power relay and attached one to the tree as well, just because I didn't like how wiry everything initially looked going all over the ground. So what I did was attach it to the tree, and I was like, I'll use the wire glitch from the tree, have it go literally underneath the ground so that you can't see any of the wires. So all of the turrets are actually powered by this. So I found that really amusing. And then for aesthetic, I also planted as many mute fruits, around the main tree as possible to give it some life and color. I'm not sure what else I can do to add to it, but I'm playing with no mods, and I don't like to mess with anything. I want it as original as possible, besides creations, which I don't count because it's, Bethesda approved, even though we all know how that goes. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any tips or ideas for me or critiques, I'd very much like to hear them. And as usual, if you like this video, please like and subscribe it. I would very much appreciate it. And I hope you guys all had a great holiday season, and I hope you all have a great new year.